Let's start. Q Jump, 2021, 9. Page 44 Number 1. As most children do, I was playing and talking to an imaginary friend, never realizing that Uncle Ned was standing behind me with his Halloween mask on, listening and waiting for his chance to scare the living daylights out of me. Ned. Suddenly, I heard something dragging its feet behind me. Glancing over my shoulder, I saw an ugly, old man with a big, warty nose and a scary face. I froze in fear and could not move. Without warning he said, "Boo, little girl. I've come to get you." Screaming, I jumped to my feet and leaped off the porch that stood high off the ground, never thinking that I might break a bone. I just needed to get as far away from that ugly man as possible. I don't think my feet hit the ground more than 3 times before I jumped into the arms of Grandma Smith, who was just coming out of the old outhouse. Smith. Page 44 Number 2. Many new college students view the college years as a chance to start over, to be who they really are, and to escape the perceptions other students had about them in high school. This is true. However, this thought process leads some students to try changing themselves to impress others. The best piece of advice you have received from family and friends is to be yourself. Your efforts to be someone other than your true self will fail. In the meantime, other students who recognize your dishonesty will be reluctant to befriend you. Soon you will feel out of place and under pressure to maintain the false identity. If you act naturally and allow yourself to make mistakes, you will find genuine friends and a place for yourself within the first month or 2 of college. Page 45 Number 3. Veros siffica lives in the forest of southwestern Madagascar. Veros siffica Madagascar. This species lives in small groups of up to about 12 individuals. 1-2. Groups contain more or less equal numbers of adult males and females. The group defends a small territory. They use their scent to mark the territory's boundary. Sifficas mate in December, at the height of the dry season. Siffica 1-2. A single young is born 5 months later and it is weaned after 7 months. 5-7. Sifficas move through the trees by leaping. Siffica. The distance they can jump is increased slightly by small flaps of skin under the animal's short forearms. On the ground, Sifficas move by hopping sideways on both hind feet. Siffica. The forearms are held out to the side for balance. Veros sifficas eat all types of plant material apart from the roots. Veros siffica. In the rainy season they prefer to eat easily digested soft fruits and flowers, but in the dry season they rely on wood, bark, and leaves. Page 45 Number 4. The majority of modern peoples, if asked to find the place within their body where the unique self resides, would say that they live about an inch above their eyebrows and about 2 inches into the skull. 1-2. But most indigenous and historical peoples would locate the self someplace very different. They would gesture in the region of the heart. For most of our history of habitation on Earth, that is where the seat of intelligence, the seat of the soul, was located. That this has changed is more an expression of how and what we are taught in Western cultures than of some exact truth. For consciousness is highly mobile and is able to use a variety of locations in the body through which to process the information we receive from the world. The location that most people now identify as themselves. Page 46 Number 5. One dimension of the mind's innate search for meaning has to do with the compelling power of purpose. For example, a girl of about 9 years old recently described what she understood to be the causes and best treatment for lung cancer. She was extremely articulate. Her interest had been sparked by the fact that her mother had been diagnosed with the disease, prompting her to read as much as she could find on the subject. Learning that is reducible to memorizing facts that are true or false is different from learning that engages actor-centered, adaptive decision-making. This kind of decision-making is the result of an authentic question generated by the learner on the basis of a genuine need to know and is one that inevitably requires more complex thinking. It is the search for meaning that organizes actor-centered questions and encourages the use of higher-order functions. Page 46 Number 6. The ancient Greeks, living long ago, in an age before the treadmill, did their walking outdoors. They did everything outdoors. A house was less a home than a dormitory. They spent only about 30 waking minutes there every day. 30. They spent the rest of their day in the agora, the marketplace, working out at the gymnasium or the palestra, the wrestling grounds, or perhaps strolling along the rolling hills that surround the city. Gymnasium, palestra, agora. None of these outings were deemed extracurricular because, unlike us, the Greeks didn't differentiate between physical and mental activity. Plato's famous academy, progenitor of the modern university, was as much an athletic facility as an intellectual one. Academy. The Greeks viewed body and mind as two inseparable parts of a whole. A fit mind not attached to a fit body rendered both somehow incomplete. Picture Rodin's thinker and you have the Greek ideal, a muscular man lost in thought. Page 47 Number 7. Self-control can involve choice between a smaller sooner punisher and a larger later punisher. In this instance it is selection of the smaller sooner alternative that is most beneficial. In deciding whether to go to the dentist, for example, we choose between enduring a small amount of discomfort in the near future, from minor dental treatment, and risking a large amount of discomfort in the distant future, from an infected tooth. Unfortunately, the prospect of experiencing discomfort in the near future, from a visit to the dentist, might exert such strong control over our behavior that we avoid going to the dentist, with the result that we suffer much greater discomfort later. Likewise, a rat given a choice between accepting a small shock immediately and receiving a strong shock 10 seconds from now might choose the latter, with the result that it experiences a considerably stronger shock than it had to. 10. Page 47 Number 8. Elderspeak is characterized by several components. Which ones are beneficial for older adults and which ones are not helpful? Kemper and Hardin had older adults watch a videotape in which a speaker described a route that was also traced on a map. Kemper-Hardin. The older adults reported that the instructions were easier to follow when the speaker reduced the grammatical complexity and used semantic elaboration, that is, repeated and expanded upon what was said. Simpler grammar and semantic elaboration also helped older adults improve their accuracy when they had to reproduce the same route on a map of their own. In contrast, shortening the length of the speaker's utterances into 2- and 5-word sentences did not improve the older adults' comprehension of the instructions, nor did it improve their performance when they traced a map of their own. Also, the older listeners did not find that an extremely slow rate of speaking with many pauses or exaggerated prosody was helpful. The end. Good job.